This demo's going to show you how to get started with GIS and then bring in the AuVision Shapefile or any other file and view it and manipulate how it's displayed and see some of the data behind it. So the GIS system that I use is actually free. I use this QGIS program, and you can just go to the website qgis.org and download the program. Again, it's open source, it's free. It does everything I needed to do, but you can go ahead and just click the download that button for the latest version. I've already downloaded it. So once it gets on your system, it's a large file, it's a gigabyte. What you want to do is just run the installer. And then I'll pause the video while that's going. Okay, and for me that took, I don't know, maybe 8 minutes. So now what I can do is load it up. I think this is the one I want. And once the program's done loading, you're going to see this screen. What you want to do is hit new project template down here. Double click that. Okay, so this is what the GIS interface looks like. What I want to do is bring in this AuVision shapefile. And so what I can do is over here on the left, you have this toolbar, and one of these buttons says Add Vector Layer. I want to click on that guy and then go browsing my system for the vector data, which will be the source. So I'll hit this browse button here, and I've downloaded the AuVision zip file. I need to extract all that stuff. Okay, and then go into the extracted folder, and you'll actually see a couple of shape files here. There's also included a nice report to go with these files, but the shape file is actually made up of this one's made up of 3 files. What I want is to select this SHP, this file with the SHP extension on it. And then click Add, and that should bring the data in. So let's close this window and get a look at it. Right, so there's a couple things you can do. If you've got a wheel on your mouse button, you can scroll in and out, and which allows you to zoom. You can click and drag to pan the map around. One thing we see here is that the pixels, these grid squares on the map, are all the same color, and that's not what we want. If I right click on the layer, this world gold layer, and go down to open attribute table, we can see that there's all kinds of feature data associated with all these different polygons. And what we want to do is to display some of this information on the map so we get an intuitive idea of what's going on. So what I'm going to do is right click on this layer again and go down to its properties. In the properties, there's a lot of properties I could set, but the one I want, and it's defaulted to it, is the symbology tab. I want to change the symbol of the polygons that are showing up in this layer. All right, to do that, let's say I want to color code this map based on the probability of or the 99th percentile for gold endowment for these particular regions. So what I'm going to do is go ahead here at the top and see how it says single symbol. I want to change that. I want to change that to graduated. I'll explain a little bit more about that in a second. And then go down to the next field, which is labeled value, and click on this arrow button, and that shows me all of those columns that are in the data table. And I'm going to go down here and pick gold AUOZ99 or P99 for the gold ounce endowment at the 99th percentile. So if I can select that, I'm going to skip down to this color ramp field, and I'm going to right click, and I'm going to, what I like to do is select the spectral color scheme. Kind of gives us a nice transition from red to blue. And in this case, the red values, or the low values, are going to be colored red. Kind of the medium values will be in this color region here, and the high values will be blue. I actually don't like that. I like to flip it so that the high values are red and low values are blue. And you can do that pretty easily. Just right click again on that field and then hit invert color ramp. Now, we haven't yet classified the data. We haven't actually told the system which values to color blue and which ones color red, and in between. Well, we can jump down here and just hit classify, and it'll do that automatically for us. And the system's defaulted to giving me 5 classes, but if I want more, I can increase or decrease that. But I don't like this color scheme because, you know, it's exploration. The chances of you finding any gold are pretty lousy pretty much anywhere you are. So most of the data in the background is, you know, the odds at the 99th percentile are 0. So it's a pretty skewed distribution, and it's not really going to show me what I want to see. And even I can demonstrate if I hit apply and move this out of the way. You can see that, yeah, a lot's blue, and then everything else seems to be red, except for a few exceptions. I want more information about how gold endowment is distributed. So what I can actually do is go to this mode setting here, and instead of this quantile equal count mode or quantile mode, I'm going to go down to this one, natural breaks. And that actually does a nice job, I've found, of classifying the data to help me see better where the best regions are and where kind of the mediocre ones are. So if I hit apply and OK, and again I move this out of the way, now we can start to see some of the detail that we were looking for. However, if I looks like I need to close this window if I want to scroll. So if I kind of scroll out, get a big picture view of things, everything turns black, and that's not what I want. And the reason it's turning black is that each of these polygons has a black outline to them, and that ends up dominating the display when I zoom out. So I can fix that too. If I go back to this world gold layer and I right click, go down to its properties again, still on the symbology item here, I can click on the symbol field, which brings me to this new symbol settings window, and then go down to this simple fill item, and then change this stroke style. So that's the outline. I can change it to a couple of different things, but what I want is no pen. I want it not to be drawn. Okay, and so now I'm starting to see getting a better looking display. Now, what I showed you, I showed you how to display the a certain type of value, one that had this continuous values. It went from 0 to several million ounces. But what I can do in another way, I'm going to go to this this icon here, identify features. It's a little eye in a circle. If I click on that and then I click on any of these polygons, I can see for that particular square what the data is behind it. And I can see, what we're already displaying is the 99th percentile of gold endowment. But also, there's other values in here, and not all of them are numbers. Let's just look at lithology. The lithological description of that particular block is an acidic plutonic rock. And there are all kinds of categories of lithology. Again, it's not numbers based. It's class based. So I'm going to close this down. Let's see how we can display a categorical variable instead of a continuous variable. So again, I'll right click on the layer, go down to its properties. In symbology, we use this graduated scale for the gold ounces for these continuous values. But if I go to switch this to categorized, that is then going to allow me to pick some of these other field values. So let's go to lithological description and move this up so you can see it. And then now when I hit classify, what it's going to do is going to grab each one of those unique values in that field and assign it its own color. It's stuck with this color ramp I defined earlier, but I don't want that. I actually prefer to change this to a random color selection so I get a lot more variety of color. Okay, so now if I hit apply and OK, now we can see the lithology data that sits within the shapefile. If I want to know what these colors are, I can just expand the layer here, this little arrow, and that'll show me the symbols and their related meaning. If you get into a little bit of trouble and say lose this pane, say this layers pane, the way you bring it back is to, let's see, we need to go up to this menu item here, view, and then all the way down to, is it toolbars? No, panels, and select the layers panel. And that'll bring it back up, and you can see down here there's this layers tab. If I click on that, get back to where we need to be. But really the whole point of showing this, using GIS is we want to take this layer and overlay it with some other type of layer, some other information we might have. Something that's nice is that if I go to this browser tab down here and select this XYZ tiles, expand this XYZ tiles item, I can open this street map. So I can bring this, automatically the QGIS provides some geographic data to start playing with, and this is just one of them. But if I grab this and just drag it into the map, that's going to bring this nice map of the world in. It's got highways on it and political boundaries and whatnot. But here's a problem. Right now I can see the street map, but I can't see my world gold map. And the reason is the street map is on top of the world gold map, and you can see that drawing order here. So if I can take the OpenStreetMap and drag it below the gold map, That now we can see that the gold map's drawn on top. But that's still a problem because now I can't see the map underneath. So what I do is, what we can do is, again, right click on this world gold layer and go to its properties. We want its symbology properties. But down here at the bottom you see this item layer rendering. If I expand that, I see this slider bar for opacity. You know, how opaque is that layer drawn, and to what extent can I see what's below it, really is the idea. So I could take this slider and reduce it, say, down to about 50%. Hit apply, OK to get rid of this window. And now that layer is semi-transparent. I can see the data in the shapefile, but I can also see under and see what's going on underneath. So that's the idea. That's just a quick intro into how to get started with GIS. The idea being that you've got other data about the world or about a particular place that you want to really cross-reference or overlay against some other piece of data, in particular this Gold Vision map. So I hope that gets you started. It's not that bad, as you can tell. It's pretty easy, and the GIS software is free. And again, it does everything that I needed to do. So good luck. You know, feel free to reach out with any comments or questions. Thank you.